Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Peterson. Everyone loved him. He was the chill teacher, always understanding, always patient. He never yelled. Seriously, never. He was more likely to crack a joke than to give detention. Mr. Peterson taught history. He made it fun too. No droning on about dates. He told stories, acted out battles. Sometimes he even dressed up. One time he came as a Roman emperor. Toga, sandals, the whole shebang. Kids were glued to their seats, except for Jason, who giggled at the sandals. Mr. Peterson just laughed along with him. It was a Monday. Mondays. Even Mr. Peterson seemed a bit less enthusiastic, but he started the lesson talking about ancient Egypt. Then it happened. A paper airplane soared through the air. It landed right on top of the pharaoh's headdress Mr. Peterson had carefully placed on his desk. He ignored it, kept on teaching, but more airplanes came. Then a crumpled paper ball bounced off his head. Mr. Peterson stopped talking. He looked around the room, his face turning red. Someone coughed. Someone else giggled nervously. The silence stretched on. You could practically hear a pin drop, except for the ticking clock, each tick sounding louder than the last. And then, Mr. Peterson exploded. Mr. Thompson, as Mr. Peterson. Enough! He roared, his voice echoing through the stunned silence. The room went completely quiet. Everyone froze. Mr. Peterson never yelled. It was like seeing a panda ride a unicycle. Totally unexpected and slightly terrifying. He looked around the room, his chest heaving. Then, he did something even more unexpected. He burst out laughing. Mr. Thompson, as Mr. Peterson. All right, he said, wiping his eyes. I get it. Mondays, am I right? The tension in the room broke. Students started giggling. Even Mr. Peterson was smiling again, although his ears were still a bit red. That day, Mr. Peterson didn't give a lecture on ancient Egypt. Instead, he talked about emotions, about how everyone gets angry sometimes, even teachers. He admitted that he'd let the little things get to him. The students listened, surprised by his honesty. They also learned that throwing things in class, even paper airplanes, wasn't cool, mostly because it could lead to seeing your teacher turn into a human volcano. Did everyone learn a valuable lesson about managing emotions? Who knows? It was school after all. But for a brief moment, everyone was a bit more understanding, a bit more human. And maybe, just maybe, that's all that mattered.